reserves that the First Nations must have. And it's about breaking down those governments, smashing these courts, and building our own workers' system, a real people's government. Our history as maritime union workers and the MUA was first formed here down in Sydney Harbour, 1872, where workers were being exploited. It was slave-like conditions that we see on the docks in other parts of the world still. And it was forged out of that granite, an understanding of class struggle, the understanding that in order for our change to happen, we must build a broad understanding of the struggles all around us. And from the beginning of our union, the First Nations struggles were at the very heart of who we are and what we believe. I congratulate the great leaders. You're a great inspiration. But I stand here and I see the families of those that have been murdered by a system that will continue to murder you. The coppers are an instrument of the state. They have no love for the working class or for the people or for this great movement. And we will steam over them. They will be parted like the instrument of capitalism it is, and we will fight until that real justice, however it takes that shape in the movement. The MUA will be here. We will be militant. We will be alongside, and we will be there to the end when that justice is served. So,
thank you, Paul. One more time for the beautiful allies. MUA! Thank you. Next, I get to bring a bit more fire to the mic. Another little bright spark up and coming to lead the way for our beautiful people. Another future black matriarch, Miss Janaea Walford.
Thank you, Annie. I really want to sit here and just gaze and look at the crowd that I see today. It's just beautiful and it melts my heart. Thank you so much for being here. First and foremost, I just want to pay my respects to my elders, past and present, and the Eora Nation mob, the first mob who fought the fleet here today, warriors. May we not forget our warriors and our dream time. So, I stand here today as a Bunjalung and Gamilaroi woman, and I'm also a long-time government servant of 12 years. And may I say, it's been difficult wearing two hats and living in two worlds. I made it up the top of the government system, and I felt the world's pressure on me. It almost broke me at one point, and unfortunately, my mentor in the government system also took her life because of that. But one thing I was reminded is that I'm a warrior. And they were all mad that I made it so far up the government system and so high up without a degree, because you know what? Anything that I was ever taught valuable was from my mob. They don't dictate to us. They guide us, they give us love. They're always there to support, and one thing we always got is empathy and community. And that's why we're saying stand with us today, because there is two sides and it's not a race debate. This is about living the law of the land, because if we don't respect the land won't respect us. So I just want to say and reflect on Annie Liz as well. Remember, love, community, empathy, touch the ground. And if you ever need to know where to go, we got your back, that's it. Your way. So I just want to say, can we say, was and always will be. Was and always will be. Was and always will be. Thank you, my mob, much love. Take care.
Thank you, Janaea. Okay, Now, next to the mic, I get to give to you my nephew. A young boy who 5 years ago got the message at his front door that his uncle was murdered by the fucking police inside Long Bay Hospital. So now you get to hear the pain. Unfortunately, my poor nephew, yeah, it's pain. But we need to hear pain. We need to understand the reality of what Australia's system does to our people. So here I'll give you my beautiful nephew, Paul Silver.
G'day, how you going? My name's Paul Silver. I'm the nephew of David Dungay Jr. Many of you have seen the tragic video that has happened to him out in the media, and for the past 5 years our family has been demanding justice. And at the end of it, we've literally got fuck all. 5 years on, we stand here today on Invasion Day, when our ancestors were murdered, slaughtered, and our kids stolen. The injustice and the racial discrimination still happens today, and it's been happening since the First Fleet arrived against the First Nations people. We don't get treated equally on our own land. The governments don't give a fuck about us, nor does the police. This land had over 250 languages. We had our own laws and our own barriers. It was all ripped away from us when those 11 boats come in here and stole it from us. Our family will continue to demand not just a change of the date, because that won't do fucking shit. We want the date abolished. We don't want no day to be celebrated where mass murders and kids were stolen to be celebrated here on our land. The Australian government plays a big part. They're out there today celebrating this day, like if it's a birthday or Christmas. When our ancestors were killed. How does that make sense? So yeah, we've been fighting for the justice for David Dungay for the past 5 years. Me personally and our family won't give up until those are held accountable, until those in positions that are going to listen will take their earplugs out and actually listen to us as people. We're not just fighting for the justice for David Dungay Jr., we're fighting for all Aboriginal deaths in custody to demand action out of we're demanding justice out of the New South Wales Parliamentary Inquiry that will hand down their findings and conclusions in March. They must implement WorkSafe New South Wales to investigate future Aboriginal deaths in custody. Because at this point in time, WorkSafe New South Wales do not investigate an Aboriginal death in custody that occurs at the hands of correctional officers nor police. These places are a place of work. Safe Work New South Wales will investigate someone's finger being cut off in a workplace
Thank you, my ever beautiful nephew, Paul. Okay, wow. Whew. How are we all feeling, you mob? We still good? We still loud? We still proud or what? Right, just making sure you're still with us, you know. Don't go to sleep now like them white fellas. No. Next, I get to introduce another beautiful ally who's helped us as a leader, organiser. He's solid, he's always with us. And give it up for Seth from ASIN. Thank you.
G'day everyone. Thank you, Auntie Lizzie. She told me I was speaking about 2 minutes ago, so bear with me. So my name's Seth. I may be brown, but I am a settler on this land, just like so many other people here. And I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on stolen Aboriginal land, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. Sovereignty was never ceded here, and we need to recognise that every single day. So, I'm from the group ASIN, the Australian Student Environment Network. As the name, alludes to, we focus on environmental activism and achieving climate justice everywhere across this continent. But we recognise that there can be no climate justice without Indigenous justice and sovereignty first, alright? That means handing land back to Indigenous peoples all across this continent, because they managed the land for 60 to 100 to 150,000 years before we got here and screwed everything up. So that means that if we return back to Indigenous land management, we won't have any more crises like the bushfires we saw last year, because the first peoples, they knew how to manage this land far better than any of us colonists. Standing and achieving climate justice means standing with Indigenous peoples in all struggles. That means calling for an end to the prison system that every single day fucks over Indigenous people at a disproportionate rate to how it fucks with the rest of us. We call for an end to unfair incarceration. We call for an end to the period of mass incarceration that we are on our way to achieving. We need radical reform, we need to radically tear down these systems and rebuild them from the bottom up with black control. That's what we need. I'm going to keep this short because I'm going to hand it back to my great auntie Lizzie, because she's a legend, but I'll end it with a chant. Sovereignty! Sovereignty! Can't hear ya! Sovereignty! Sovereignty! Thank you very much.
Thank you, beautiful Seth. Sorry for dropping the last 2 minutes. I never welcome to our world, bruh. Okay, next I got a beautiful, sexy, divine, hot fire. If you don't know this person, well, you're not woke in this country right now, I tell you. The beautiful, the ever divine Felicia Fox.
Thank you, my people. How are we today? The 26th of January, a day of mourning for all my mob. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to pay my respects to the people of this land, and I'd like to pay my respects to all of our allies here today. You know, one thing when it comes to the 26th of January, we're always viewed as the angry black mob. Well, you want to see wild? That's Felicia after a couple drinks after my show. But never mind now. You mob, we are here. Our land has been taken away from us. Our children have been snatched from mothers. People have been killed, mass murders. But today, we are all here in respect, and we keep fighting the fight that our ancestors fought for us. But today, you mob, I'm just so happy to see black, yellow, purple, brindle, whatever colour out here in this crowd, supporting us, standing with our mob, all in arms. And I'm just going to keep it short, finish off with a chant. Always was, always will be. And a big shout out to all my queer black mob in this crowd today. And I am here, I see you, stay black and stay Aboriginal. Us, us.
Do we have any Indigenous disability mob out there that would like to get up? This is your opportunity, this is your day, this is your platform. This is the only time of the year that we can tell the government to get fucked. Barker, are you out there, my sister? We've been waiting on you. You got to get your groove on up here. Where is she? We also want to talk about charging gungies. We call gungies at coppers. Can you all say gungies? Now say say, fuck the Gungies. That's what I reckon. And it's the only time that every year we look forward to come and march in these streets, singing our land rights and fuck the police. Because police are still killing our people in this country. Cops are still getting away with murder. Cops are not being charged. They are not being convicted. We still do not have our own system where we can take care of our own. Because for 230, how many years, I fucking forgot because this thing's that long. But anyway, we're all here. And it shows that the government couldn't even look after their own people, long line ours. How are they going to look after you and your future? When we got no environment, we got no water in our rivers. Take a look outside the Sydney metropolitan area and you will see land dying. You will see people dying. Because without the land, the people die. Without the people, the land dies. We have coexisted since the time immemorial, and we are still here. And we have taken to the streets. We have taken to the parks of every city across this country, and we are demanding justice. That means we want coppers charged. We want them convicted. We want justice. We want our political prisoners free. We want answers for all the unsolved deaths in this country. The cop cases, Mark Ames. Let's start looking into the issues. Why are we marching this street? What do you think? We all just like doing this? Start giving our land back. Start letting us be in control of our own affairs, and then we might have some better solutions. But until then, we are not stopping. We will not remain silent, and we will be here. Like I said, we are coming. There is a First Nations political body that will be up and coming, and it's not made up of the Johnny-come-latents and the ring-ins. These are black people that grew up in the movement, are suffering and speaking, being the voice for our people that are still suffering back on our homes and our missions and reserves. They reckon there was no concentration camps here because they call them missionaries. My mother grew up on a mission. Mission managers. Not 200 years ago, only 60 years ago. I was born in the Big Smoke. Here, we call it Big Smoke because the Big Smoke came here. As soon as that smoke went from here, went all the way up Gomeroi country. Then my people come down and we, our people, help. The Wiradjuri people help. The southern people come up and we fought with Pemulwuy. We kept the regiments on the other side of the river for 12 years at the Hawkesbury until they got through to Singleton. The Australian Agriculture Company, under their pastoral law, pushed by Edmund Barton, who was a member of the Victorian Native Association. Today they are known as Australian Unity. They are the people that push for assimilation policy, people, but yet government gives them so much of the funds from Indigenous people. Australian Unity, aka the Victorian Native Association, also pushed in 1994 for Australia Day to be the first public holiday. So they keep swapping and changing to suit their own needs, just like the politicians. They're all full of shit and full of dust and need to fuck off. We want 24-hour watch committees. Let's take it back to the royal recommendations that you never implemented. It's time to scrap it. It's time to review the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council as well. You are selling us out. People say we go attacking our own mob. Well, it's our own fucking mob that are doing it too. And they need to be held accountable. It's my nieces and nephews that are in the system. Generation welfare. These are my people that we're trying to fight and make better lives for. As I said, everyone else has benefited on this country except us. Moree, largest agriculture, the richest agriculture in the world. Yet my people are living in poverty. We got places like the Aboriginal Employment Strategy, run by Dick Estens, a cocky, a farm owner, a cotton owner. This kind of shit needs to stop. COAG and all your white appointees, same as your recognised council. We don't want to be recognised. It's time to pay the fucking rent. It's time to pay for the war crimes. It's time to pay for reparations. Until then, we will not be silent. So I say, let's do this not only today, but every day. Because Black lives matter, your lives matter. We're not only fighting for our mob, we're fighting for yours as well, because the system doesn't discriminate. But when it's killing our people continuously, we are going to get up because it affects us all. And we ask you to do the same thing when it's happening to your people, because we will come and stand with you. Because this is a system oppression of the police, colonial police. That was known as the Red Corps before they turned blue. They've been only around since 1864, after they demolished the native police. 1838, 1864, they had the native police. And then they started the New South Wales Police Force. So learn the history, people, then you'll understand why the fuck we're out on these streets. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Everyone, no justice! No justice! No justice! Are you Lizzie? Jared. Crap. You hear that, Glenn? Personal joke to my husband. Next, there's a beautiful sister that come to ask to speak. Anyone out here right now that's black understands you are welcome to come and have a platform here. As long as you're not promoting violence against us. Against them, well, who cares? Anyway, right now we got little beautiful sister here, Shania Donovan. Make her welcome, please.
How you doing? I just wanted to say my name's Shania Donovan. I'm Barry Gombangi. Today you're on my country. I wanted to welcome you all here. I am so glad that all of you are here. It fills my heart with so much joy, and I want to welcome you in the language of my people. I want to say, Pujuri Malinawa, Warmi Walablami Garabra, the idea of Shania. Inga Ingra Dalagodiam, Nine Nura, Wine Nura, Jimmy Gangumandura, Daling Yora Yamala Bunuru. Digital
Kaya, sister. Okay, yep, next we have a beautiful sister in the crowd that we'll give much respect to, a young, beautiful woman, young, and she's going to come and put some fire in us that's going to hurt our hearts again, make our hearts think, make our heads think, and let's give a real reflection to what this young lady has to say. Miss Kaya Patton, please make your way to the microphone.
Yama, my name is Kaya Patton, and I'm the great-grandchild of Jack Patton. For some of you who might not know, Jack Patton, today on this day, 83 years ago, 1938, he
you'll start to feel what we feel. Okay, where are we? Next, we have beautiful Uncle Dave. Oh, which way? Vin or first? Vin. I don't know. Okay, another beautiful solidarity. Ally brother from Solidarity, I think. No, Socialist. I don't know. Anyway, Vin.
When I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Black lives. When I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Black lives. When I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Black lives. I would like to begin by also acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we stand in. And I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge and pay tribute to the generations of brave Indigenous fighters who have paved the way for the struggle that we are all part of today. Names like Daisy Bindi, names like Uncle Chicka Dixon, names like Uncle Gary Foley. I myself am not Indigenous, but I count myself proud to be here amongst thousands of others who are also not Indigenous, but who see it as their responsibility that so long as Indigenous people are oppressed in this country, so long as they're told by a government and a police force what they can do on their own country, and so long as they say, fuck you back to those powers, we will stand alongside them, shoulder to shoulder, unapologetically. Because the reason over the past few days the New South Wales government and the New South Wales police have done everything they can to try and stop all of us from turning out here today is because they're scared. Over a number of years they've seen this movement building in strength and they're scared of what it can achieve. They know that when we take over the streets, when we shut their system down, they have to give us breadcrumbs so that they can keep things running again. Well, I'm so proud and so inspired to see so many people here today committed to the fight, to shutting this thing down until we get genuine justice in this country. And I think for all of us who are not Indigenous, we have to recognise that we have an interest in this fight as well, because what they do to Indigenous people, they want to do to the rest of us as well. And we only need to look at the cashless welfare card from the Northern Territory. This is something that they rolled out as part of the racist Northern Territory intervention. Under the Howard government, and the Labor government continued it, and now what is happening? They're rolling it out to suburbs in Western Sydney, not just to Indigenous people, but to other poor people as well. So what they do to Indigenous people, they will one day try to do to us as well. And that is why we have every interest and responsibility in standing alongside Indigenous people in this fight. And good on everyone for coming out here today. And I think one thing that we need to do is, even though we're in a moment right now in history where there is incredible tragedy going on around us, both to Indigenous people, and then you look at all the people who are dying across the world in the United States as a result of COVID, all these things, and what they want to try and do is they want to try and crush our hope. But I think it's our responsibility to yell loudly back at them that we will never give up our hope. So I want to share with you, a couple of years ago I had the absolute privilege of meeting with a Black Lives Matter activist from the United States, and he shared a chant from the United States that I think we should take up as our declaration that we will never give up this struggle. So raise your fist and repeat after me. I believe. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. Power to the people.
Thank you, Brother Vin. Sorry for getting your introduction wrong, but yeah, I've got a long list today to go through. Next, I get to introduce Uncle Dave Bell. Everyone in this little nation in New South Wales definitely has to know this man. If you don't, you've got a problem. And if you do know him, support him some more, hey, because he does a lot. He goes out of his way every day to feed community. He goes and gets the food, delivers it. He makes sure children are looked after. He runs boxing camps. He goes out of his way as a grown man to make sure our people are safe, fed, nurtured. So please give him a lot of respect. Uncle Dave and Raoul Bassi, one of my deadly other allies. Thank you.
And then we'll get David Shoebridge to finalise the last talk, because David Shoebridge is a pioneer for our people, and his word is our bond. I just want to give you a little bit of history of the block, right? The block. Gentrification, the block. When Luke Frudenstein went to Redfern, very smart man. Not for the people, for development. And it breaks our heart that all of our grandmothers, the 8 grandmothers that stood in the Redfern 10 embassy to fight for the rights of the block. And what happened, instead of working with the people on the ground, that we could have had workshops, we could have had cultural events to bring all that culture to the community in Redfern. No, you know what they done? They set us up. They set us up. Once we lost Redfern, we lost the heart of the city. You got to feel our pain. I'm a Redfern boy. Me and Shane Phillips we were paper boys when they were 7 cents. The sun and the mirror. I've been working hard on the ground, in the front line. This is where the prevention never gets to. That's why we need case management. I've been running a program for 28 years. No funding. In the front line. I'm a warrior. And I always will. I don't care. I'm here to stay. And we want all of our leaders to come with us. And everyone here today, I'm sorry that we've taken up a time, but I applaud you. I really applaud you, and I love you, and I respect you all. But getting to the 8 grandmothers, and a lot of them are past, that stood for the fight. Auntie Kay Hookie, stay her name. Auntie Kay Hookie. Legend for our people. Auntie Kay Hookie. We just lost a sister, our elder, and Raoul, I'll speak about that very shortly. Auntie Bo Hickey. Auntie Bo Hickey, we fought for Redfern to stay alive as a cultural significance. What happened? They set us up. They set us up to go to and put us all down to Waterloo. And what happens in Waterloo now? Development. Open your eyes, people. Open your eyes. Once we lost Redfern, now it's gentrification. You know, Luke done a smart game. He aligned himself with all the Aboriginal community organisations. You know? And what happened with all that? The people never even had a say in the community. Auntie Jenny Munro, Auntie Uncle Lyle, that fought all the way through. My aunties, Auntie Joan Bell, Auntie Diggy, and Debbie Bell. All of our people that stood on the Redfern 10 embassy. Shame, people, shame! Louder, louder! Redfern was the heart of our people. No more, people, no more. It's about multicultural now and moving forward. But we want to thank you, and I'll just pass this on the rail. Thank you for everybody that come out. I adore you and I respect you. Thank you very much.
First of all, I want to thank the mobs present here. They make us no more too little, too weak. You are here more than any one of my mob. And really, in the circumstances of this rally, your presence is proving that you want to fight. I mean, my call to people like me is we have to fight too. We have to fight together because we have to defeat the same enemy. We have to fight together. But in reality, what I want to talk about, that's what I came with Dave, is about some couple things from Redfern, couple things from the block. The first things he mentioned, the passing Auntie Bowie, is a big loss for the soul of Redfern, even Waterloo. She was incredible, and particularly she was really strong in the campaigns against in the campaigns for the justice for TJ Hickey. He was incredible, marching kilometers to support TJ and the family. And that is the second point I want to mention to you everyone. Today I invited to come to speak a person. I knew that's not gonna come, but I have to invite it because speaking about what is her passion is very, very painful for her. I'm talking about Gail Hickey. Gail Hickey. Please say that. Gail Hickey! Gail Hickey! She is a warrior. She is a warrior woman that is no pair. In all my life, being activist for more than 60 years probably, I never found a woman with that power, that energy, and that really, really confidence. So, this year, 14th of February, is the 17th anniversary of the death of Gail. 17 years that Gail has been marching, fighting for him. And we will marching, fighting for TJ, and everyone is invited to come on 14th of February, 10 o'clock, in the TJ Hickey Memorial, because it will be a rally and march to remember him and keep insisting in the justice. Thank you.
And our final speaker, David Shoebridge, our local MP for the Greens. Dave, thanks very much.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Dave. As a Greens MP, I stand here with all of you, and I want to thank those elders, those activists, for their welcome onto their country and for the acknowledgement of country, and I too join with you. This is Gadigal land. Always was, always will be. Gadigal land. Never ceded. And I want to thank the courage of those activists. Look at them there, the activist organisers who said, this is a day of mourning that will not be stolen from them by any police minister. No threats from a police minister is going to steal their moment, like their country has been stolen, like their land has been stolen, like their kids have been stolen, and they've taken it back today, and you've helped them do that. So thank you so much for what you have done. And we saw those threats from the police minister. He wanted this day to be full of violence. Because the right of politics want to pretend that when people come and stand in solidarity with First Nations people, it's somehow revolutionary. But I can tell you now, I look around this crowd, whether it's over there, or there, or there, or there, I see circles of decency. Good people, a growing movement, a young movement. A young movement. Not the movement that's listening to 2GB, but the movement that's going to come forward and seize control of that place over there that I happen to work in, the New South Wales Parliament. This is the future. And you have come together here today with the work of the activists, COVID safe, peaceful, and you have listened to speaker after speaker of First Nations peoples. And they've come and they've told you about the pain of them and their families and the intergenerational trauma. How many speakers spoke about their mum and their dad and their grandparents being stolen? And they've told you the truth about the history of this place. Not the rah-rah of some Scott Morrison, but the genuine truth about the history of this place. So we've heard pain and we've heard truth. But you know the thing that I take away from this as much as that? I take away the courage of those young Aboriginal speakers. The courage of the elders, the courage of the activists, and we need to stand with them every day, not today, 365 days a year, stand with them, acknowledge their courage, amplify their voices. And you may not have noticed, but we're not overwhelmed by MPs here as we gather. You know, where's the Premier? Where's the leadership? You're elected to show leadership, not to threaten people. You're elected to give us a pathway for justice. Give us a pathway for justice, and they have failed that test in the last week. Prime Minister, Premier, the whole lot of them I failed that test in the last week. But you've heard a pathway to justice here today, and let me assure you of this. Last time we had a mass movement out on the streets, like we've had this mass peaceful gathering today. Peaceful gathering. Thousands came out with the Black Lives Matter movement, and people said, what will it do? What will it change? Well, it sent a message to that place, my dysfunctional workplace, the New South Wales Parliament. It sent a message to that place, and it sent a message to Canberra, and that's the way we force change. Because just days after that last mass gathering, peaceful like this one, we managed to get a motion that I moved in that place to establish a fresh inquiry into the gross number of Aboriginal deaths in custody, to get Aboriginal people out of jail, to hold people to account. That happened because of a mass movement like this. You have power, collectively you give First Nations power, you give MPs like me power to take it into Parliament and make real change. That's what you do today by coming out. So I'll finish with this. We're on Gadigal land today, and cast your mind back to what this place was 233 years ago. A people who understood this continent, who worked with nature. They didn't clear it and put up concrete monstrosities, but worked with nature because for 60-odd thousand years or more, they had understood the rhythms of this continent. They had understood how to raise their babies safely, and in peace. They didn't have their kids taken. They weren't put in jails. There were no jails 233 years ago. They learned how to manage the land so as we didn't have the catastrophic fires. And we need to listen to those generous First Nations leaders, those knowledge keepers, those traditional owners, and relearn how to live on this land. Relearn how to live in harmony with this continent, side by side with those First Nations leaders who I'll hand you back to now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David Shoebridge, for being probably, oh God, one of the only politicians that I respect. Put it that way. That says a lot for you, Mr. Shoebridge, and you know it. Anyway, now right, you mob, just going to give you a little heads up on how we're going to close today. We did have a march organised, but then we made an agreement with the police that if we sat here and they gave us space, we wouldn't march. So we're going to stick to our word, because we don't want any arrests today. We don't want any violence today. We don't have any reason for these coppers to fuck with us today. So we're not going to give them any, okay? Right, thank you. Next, I get to introduce again the beautiful young Ian Brown and Tamika Tye to give you some directions on how you're going to move forward from today. Because Invasion Day isn't just one day for us. Invasion Day is a 365-day occurrence. Maybe even 366 in a leap year. Okay? So these people are going to let you know how you're going to move forward, how you're going to take these feelings and all this education and do something productive for us. Give it up for Ian and Tamika, please.
Yet again, I just want to thank everyone for turning out today. I'm so happy we resisted and we won. And again, you know, we're here to tell the police to go and get fucked. I just want to, before we wrap up, I want to acknowledge a few people who have led the resistance for us over the years who haven't been named today. My Uncle Paul Coe, my Uncle Billy Craigie, my Auntie Lynn Thompson, and my Auntie Isabel Coe. We are here because of them. We have nothing without resistance, and we need to acknowledge that. So as my sister Kaya Patton said, the blacks at the back move to the front. It's time. We have nothing without resistance. And my brother Ian will give some instructions on how we move out of here peacefully and without being harmed by white supremacists.
Yeah, I'd just like to relay exactly what Tamika just said there, especially to our mob out here in the sun. I appreciate every single one of you for sticking around and staying here and listening to all of our speakers here. Moving forward, as allies, as Aboriginal First Nation people, as the custodians of this land, as sovereign people, and as our true and true allies, what can you do to support the cause? You can get behind the campaign that's happening. You can write to your local governments, areas, representatives. Come in force. Get behind the solidarity movement that's going on here. We've got to stop these black deaths in custody. We've got to stop the assault on our land. We've got to stop the assault on our family. We've got to stop the assault on our black men and women that are being incarcerated at a disproportionate rate. So as allies, I plead to you, write into your local government representatives, hound their local officers, email, write letters, everything that you can do. Come and join the movement. Get involved in organising committees. This is what we're here to do. The change is now. If every single one of you here have a user with banks, ring up and make sure that your bank are investing your money ethically. If they're invested in the mining corporations that are constantly and continually destroying our land, then tell them to change it. Tell them you don't want it. This is our land. I'd also like to thank the organising committee for Invasion Day 2021. Without all of us involved, this wouldn't be possible. Thanks to all our supporters, thanks to the media that's coming here to cover this issue. Because we're not going to stop. We've been marching for decades, for centuries now. We've been resisting and will continue to resist until our demands are met. As sovereign First Nation people, we are treated as second-class citizens. The time is now. Because as they say, evil is allowed to triumph when good people stand by and do nothing. So I ask you, are you good people? Are you going to stand by idle and let the corrupt, evil forces that's going on in this country that don't acknowledge us to triumph? If not, get behind us, get amongst the cause, and thanks for coming.
Woo! All right. Yep. Come on, you mob, stand around. Grab a banner, please. Stand them up. Because right now we're going to put some fire in the place. Right now we're going to get our black excellence. Two of the best you could ever come to see. Live concert. Yeah. Only you young little jargons, come to the front. All you media people, please step back a little bit. Show some respect. Thank you very much. I understand when our photo's taken, but move back. That's what I'm trying to get to. Right? All the mob get to the front. Because today's our day. Today is our land, our way, our say. Always will be. All right. Like there, just let me get ready there. Getting painted up, my nephew. Okay, who I get to introduce to you next? Yeah, you ready for some fire, you mob, or what? Are you ready for some fire, you mob, or what? Yeah! Now I know you're listening. Okay, I get to introduce to you the ever deadly, special, talented Dobby and Barker. Give it up! Can we get the other mic, please, to the front? Thank you, Russell. Pass it this way.
Thank you so much. How are y'all doing? I said, how are we all going? Very honored to be here. My name is Ryan Clapham. I'm a proud Filipino and Murawari musician. My family are from Brewarrina, northwest New South Wales.
My name's Barker, also known as Chloe Quail. My mum comes from Kenya. Also, my father's a Bill from Moree. So let's get it.
Yeah, yeah. No fuss, Russ.
Having to explain myself. They wanted having to explain myself. They want to know the history, the pain, my health. They're making me wild, need to restrain myself. If I were you, I'd imitate myself. To kiss them, to raise myself. They said Australia and America's not the same. I said never done, they don't even know the name. Back to your men and tell them what's happening. You need to challenge the white settle the narrative. Got a lot of books that call us nomadic savages. Maybe that's a connection to them attacking us. Doesn't it thinking of any other solution? But two things to treaty and revolution. Kill us to quit it, your silence is given. Give us your platform so your people can listen. First came the massacres, then came the mission. Then stole the children, then
right, media? Don't touch! No, don't touch! Do not touch!
We are not doing a dance party. Guys, can we all spread out, please? We'll all be leaving in a minute. The stay has been really good.
Lockie, spread out, spread out.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Adai. Don't let these coppers take anything away from us. Move back. You can all see her. You can all hear her.
A dance
Move back,
party.
please. We only got one more song, and then we are going to disperse from this crowd peacefully, as we always do. Now, can we have one more song, please? Thank you.
Peace, Mark and Mark Twain. And to all my people who've lost their lives at the hands of white police.
Spread out.
So you're gonna shoot a brother in the back? Black mother at her doorstep. Impale a brother on a tall fence. Another brother shakes till he got no life left. Take a body bag to the mish. No respect, gun bulls don't give a shit. To young fellas get chased into the rivers and their bodies turn up and they're floating like shit. Burnt in the back till his body turned crisp. Blamed for the rape cause she put liquor to her lips. He's bashed in the pack, he got broken in the bits. He's got his hands up, he's innocent, he didn't move with. Why my people gotta die? Ain't shit changed since we've been colonized. We want land rights, special treaty inside, and we still gotta fight cause coppers keep taking lives. I'm sick of it. Sick of being traumatized, scrolling down my timeline, seeing we lost another life. It's ridiculous. I wanna hear less action, but be ignorant. Some is gonna be losing my patience, but we still fight. Hold your fists up. Put 'em up. This my war cry. How many more of my people gotta fucking die? Out here on the streets full steady, stuck in life, incredibly. Touching my tricks, playing in my mind. I'm out here trying to live it right. Wondering if I gotta ride up. Heavy how we living, but we living now. Ready for the day in Miami we pray. I pray that I smoke it, I'm stay safe, and I hope that our babies get to see better days. Questioning if anything's ever gonna change. Locked in my cell and the smells still strange. Locked in my mind, but my brain ain't caged. I'm never simulated, I'm a proud to pray. It's like you how I need to give a picture. You understand me, black, I rock the picture. They got blood on their hands.
Can we all please get home safely?
Right, now you mob, it's been so deadly having you out here with us all day. Thank you for coming out, and we thank you every day. Yeah, and also please be aware if any rubbish is around you, okay? We don't want to be like litter bugs in our mother's land, so please take any belongings with you. Yeah, all organisers, come to the front with banners, please, for photo session. But otherwise, to the beautiful crowd right now that can hear me, this gathering is officially now over. We are asking that you please safely use any exit that's close to you. Make your way home. Celebrate yourself for what you've done today with us against a system that doesn't want to see us do this. Take some pride in what we've done today. And I tell you now, I'm proud of every single one of you. And you are all my family now. Sorry about that. I just adopted the whole crowd. But yeah, and seriously now, you mob, please get yourselves together. Please take care of each other. If you see any elders and children struggling, reach out and help them. That's how we do it. So please, everyone now, please get yourself together and start taking yourself home. Enjoy the pride you have today. And thank you again for all the love shown. And yeah, always was, always will be
Aboriginal land!
Woo! Thank you again, everybody.